Interpreting the News with John. Welcome to the show. I hope you're watching on Facebook. I'm also streaming behind me right now on my Instagram, my personal Instagram, to try to get everybody aware that we do have a new show. We will have a new show. And the time is beginning. So, of course, 6 o'clock, all channels are at We the People are the news. Very simple handle. It's there. Go get it. I would say go get it on Parler, but we know about Parler. But it's everywhere else, for the most part. And we're going to see how long we can keep this, make sure we don't get shadow banned, all that jazz. And if the gods allow us, it will be...
That was easy.
Easy. Of course, Friday, I always have my wine, so... Actually, that's a lie, suppose it's beer. I got some trail mix here. Everybody feel free to go out into the comments. Start writing some stuff. Comments are necessary. I like comments. It's hard for me to read the comments. If you can, hit share. I'm syndicating on all my pages. And, yeah, we have a good show for you tonight. It's usually about an hour, this program. I feel a little better in the throat today, by the way. So, if I had COVID, it was really not bad, but I don't have COVID as far as I know. Just a little bit of a sore throat for the past 2 days. How is your daily dose? I will play this every day because there will be new guests on, and you will need to see exactly the graphic on your screen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, links in the bio, so go watch there. Yeah, so this is where we're at. Right now, the upload and the download from the mainstream media and social media are, of course, plaguing our society and our thoughts, and the way we think in general, and that needs to stop. And I told you today we'd have a new beginning to the program. Hello unknowingly, Bella. I lied. I didn't get to it. I was dealing with a lot of stuff today. But in due time. And, of course, just for fun, we do have multiple camera angles. That's what the studio looks like when I look at the computer. But this appearance looks so much more studio-esque. That's right. But we have a multicam going right now. So, right into the program. Bam! Oh, nope, not that. That's a graphic. Get rid of that and go to that. Bam. FBI arrested CNN guest for inciting violence and rioting at the Capitol. Now, hold the phone. We have to break into this a little bit. We got to go and deep dive into exactly what that means, where we're at with the factoids that are in our society. So, this man was, of course, interviewed the night of the siege of the Capitol. And he said he was just taping. He got footage of the woman that was shot to death. And he said he was there as a journalist. Okay? How many people we got streaming? Guys, go over to Facebook. Watch this. You can get it on the link in the bio. So, if you go into where this is going, you say, okay, he was just a journalist. He claims no backing toward the protest itself. He was just there to document it. He was streaming this to his Twitch account, I think. One of those accounts where you can stream. Had a good camera with him, was doing the whole thing, except when you tape stuff and you leave a breadcrumb trail as to what your purpose is and what you were there doing, and your involvement. Things are about to get a little murky. So this man, of course, came right out, and his name is, I believe it is, John Sullivan. It comes up later on in the program. Yeah, there it is, John Sullivan, founder of Insurgents USA. Insurgents USA is involved with Antifa. They're supporters of Antifa. They love Antifa. And that's an issue, because everyone was saying, oh, you know what? They're saying that Antifa was not the main people there, and it was all conservatives. I've, since day one, said that the likelihood of that is ridiculous. There was a lot of people there. If that was all Antifa, kudos on your false flag op, because you would have nailed it. But I always said that there was definitely agitators, as there were with BLM. But you see, the agitators were never conservative groups as far as I can imagine. Instead, I always said Antifa was merging agitators in with BLM and leading people with high emotions to do stupid stuff. However, here, this man claimed no responsibility, zero. He said I was there just being a photo journalist, video journalist, except, again, he's tied to a group and making a speech on August 20-somethingth of last year where he said we need to pull Trump out of the White House. We're not going to wait for this. Inciting violence and raising tempers, this man does very well. But we have to go into where I'm going with this story, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the next slice. I gotta shut that. Hold on. Bam. Okay, we're good. We're still live over there? Yes. Okay. So, no Facebook for you. Oh, you're going to watch here? Sure, watch. But you can't see the graphics. I'm talking to my people on Instagram. We're doing a double feed today. We're going to start doing this more often. Next week, I believe we're going to be doing a double feed from Max Public House. That's right. We want everyone from Max to jump on here and follow this because I am basically a media distribution person for Max. I'm not always affiliated with them, but I'm friendly with them, and they come on the show. So there's going to be more stuff to talk about in the upcoming weeks as things are developing in fast motion as to what businesses are opening and how Governor Cuomo is caving because of his laws being not legal, because they're not laws at all. They're mandates. And only kings make mandates. Dictators make mandates. Funny how that works. Definitions get twisted. So, here we are. Anarchist John Sullivan was arrested for rioting in the U.S. Capitol. Evidence shows him agitating the crowd and inciting violence. Of course, we go now further back. It was August 28th, told you it was in the 20s, of 2020. BLM threatening to rip the president out of the White House. They say they won't wait until the next election. They're openly calling for a revolution. This is domestic terrorism on full display. Out in the open, they don't even try to hide it. Well, why would anybody try to hide it when they have carte blanche? They can do whatever they want. Or if you're watching 22 Jump Street, Cate Blanchett. So, very interesting. As the facts are developing, now he's arrested, but he was on CNN the night of, and he was heralded as a journalist from Insurgents USA. Okay. So let's keep going down the rabbit hole. Anarchist John Sullivan was boasting on Instagram of his contacts with the FBI yesterday. They arrested him for rioting. So let's blow this up, see what we see. It's kind of hard to see this stuff because it's all thumbnail screenshots. But here we go. John, my name is blank blank redacted, FBI Salt Lake. Will you give me a call when you can, please? We want to follow up with you about last week. So, the Jaden X is as he goes by on his streaming name and on his channels, says full disclosure to those who are doubtful about the FBI having been in contact with me over the hashtag storming of the Capitol. 1, I was detained the night of January 7th by both FBI and law enforcement in D.C., questioned and released. And there's a link, which we saw on video. He was questioned by somebody outside of his hotel, and he said, I'm on the phone. Can't you see I'm on the phone? Okay, sorry, I have to touch this so the phone logs out possibly. I'm not sure how that works on Instagram Live. I am not an informant for the FBI or the cops. I am just a video journalist that was there that day to record history. Everything is sounding a little bit strange. Very cookie cutter perfect. I was just there doing... First of all, unless you work for somebody, and they still have to gain you access. If there's a riot ongoing, I don't know the legality of just rushing into the Capitol. Perfect example, I was covering media for Max when the sheriff's department blockaded the door, illegally fined everybody inside of Max, proceeded to take somebody's cell phone and basically rip it out of their hand and tell them they're not allowed to tape. Then they summons the lawyer, they summons the people that work there, they summons the guests inside of Max. They then removed Danny and brought him into detention, which was all over the news everywhere. And I was there to capture it all. They told me I was too close to the front of the bar on the sidewalk and basically threatened me on video. It's everywhere. And that was okay. At that point, that was normal behavior. I was the press. I wasn't inciting anything, but being freelance press, I also don't have the press passes of a major network behind me. And even if I did, you still have to abide by what the officers are saying, whether you want to debate it later on in court. However, this man went into in and stormed the Capitol with everybody else and just said, hey, if I was there as freelance press, I'm taking my life and I'm taking my own risk and I am breaking the law going in under the pretenses that I am, in fact, the press. The cat is entering the show, ladies and gentlemen. The cat is entering the show. Keep it moving, cat. Can you see the cat on there? Yeah, you can see the cat. Again, if you want to see the actual feed with the graphics, go and hit the link in the bio. Okay, so here we are. We know that you're taking a risk. And there he is, yesterday, arrested. Boom, goes the dynamite. Why do they have crazy eyes? We'll get to that later. A lot of the people arrested on both extremist sides have very crazy eyes, which leads me to believe crazy is involved in the recipe here. So, homeboy's got some crazy eyes on him. That's what we got. He's arrested. Where do you think this segment is going? Anyone in the comments have anything to say about where this segment is going? I can't really watch the Insta comments, sadly, but on Facebook, if you drop some comments, go for it. Where is Mr. Crazy Eyes, and where is this story going? Oh boy, it's great. There we go. PolitiFact again. PolitiFact joins in and says, right, crisis actors. Yeah, he's basically definitely a crisis actor. And I had this debate with somebody again, and I said, this man was at least one of a agitator and an Antifa member. And I said, I'm not giving anybody else the free path, and I'm sure even if they were incited the correct way under a false flag operation, you still have to own your emotions. Every argument, every fight you're in your lifetime, say you're getting bullied into a fight at a bar, you have to own the reaction of your anger. If there's a big guy or a small guy and you decide to throw a punch and something else happens from the side, there's a reaction to your anger, and anger is very blinding. Anger makes you stupid in the art of debate and politics. This is a fact. This is not just Master Yoda speaking like I played yesterday. This is a straight up fact. So you have to leave anger at the door so it does not cloud your judgment. And you have to talk and not condemn. You need to make... What in the world is that noise? That's a cat. What are you doing? Cease. This is what happens when you have a cat in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. So, PolitiFact has this as BAM right there. Left-wing activist is inciting insurgents. Mostly false. God, I love when we get the mostly false. And I've been talking about mostly false because why? If something's mostly false, it's either true or false. It's not kind of sort of true. There's no such thing as this crazy definition that they've made, right? Okay, so I went into PolitiFact straight up. And I wanted to look, and they say, if your time is short, let us upload all the information to your brain as we see fit. Because they're not there to do the right job. I'm calling bullcrap all the time on them, and I'm calling bullcrap yet again. So, if your time is short, John Sullivan, an activist from Utah, joined supporters of President Donald Trump who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. He said he was trying to document what happened. Convenient. There is no evidence that John Sullivan incited the insurgents alone amid a crowd of thousands. True, I can agree with that. Video he uploaded online shows his perspective as he filmed. Sullivan denied any affiliation to the broad Antifa coalition, even though he's been hashtagging it all the time. Oh yeah, he's posted related hashtags on Twitter accounts. There remains no legitimate evidence that the mob at the Capitol was infiltrated or led by Antifa activists in disguise. There's definitely some evidence right here that this Antifa member was there, and I'm sure he wasn't acting normal the whole time. Maybe he was working with people, and even more. But why would I take my conjecture for it when I can even lead you down the rabbit hole to even more?
I'll give you your hug now. We did it! You were right, we did it!
Dude, I was trying to tell you. I couldn't say much.
You were right!
You just have to watch my chat.
Oh my god!
Is this not going to be the best film you've ever made in your life?
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah?
Hell yeah.
Wait, you weren't recording, were you?
I'll delete that shit out. But I didn't record you or me. It was just voices.
I'll give you your hug now. We did it!
So there we go. That is somebody by the name, allegedly, because she has a mask on, that's working, damn the name forgives, she works for CNN and NPR, allegedly. That's what's dribbling out onto the interwebs. They seem pretty excited to be in there. She also seems to be working directly with him. And I watched some more of his footage, which you can find on YouTube under Jaden X and all that jazz. People have reposted the clips, and he's like saying, F this, we're in, let me help you, we're making history right now. F yes, we're going to have to burn it down, all this other stuff that he allegedly said I've been reading quotes on. But you got to watch some of the footage for yourself to know exactly what we're dealing with. And what we're dealing with is a little bit more than what mostly false is, because he's been arrested since. It seemed a lot like he was not just being a photojournalist, he was rallying the crowd up. That was his choice, and coming from a professional agitator that wanted to rip Trump out of the White House, that also seems to be his bag, baby. Yeah. So when you look at these fact checks, you got to understand that while they're fact checking things as mostly false, there's a very good chance it's very true and you can't even render a decision yet. I would appreciate PolitiFact if they couldn't render a decision yet. Did this just kick me off my live feed? Jesus. Hi, Danny. Welcome to the show. I'm streaming from everywhere at this point. So, here we go. Here we are. The left says that it's most the PolitiFact, the fact checkers say mostly true, mostly false. It's mostly false in this case. It is a lie. Okay, we're gonna move on. So Twitter's been a hot topic, and there's been reasons. No matter what you post, you might be inciting violence, or more, you might be saying fake information. Even though there's tons of people that say fake information, only certain information is considered fake and must be hidden. So this was announced, and it's very strange, but here we are. COVID lockdowns have no clear benefit versus other voluntary measures, international study shows, as per Newsweek. This, my friends, was left up last we checked, and it seems to go along with what is happening, like in Chicago and New York. Everybody's going to be rushing to open everything pretty damn soon. It seems it's like we're on that doorstep where everything's going to open, even though everybody's not vaccinated yet. But it seems like everything's going to be open, at least until laws change that prohibit them from allowing them to open. But they have to open right now. That's where we're going. So more and more the news is trickling out. Now that the election is completely locked up, that could be an opinion if you think that's what swayed this. I don't know if I want to say that live because they might cancel me. Cancel the Matos. But COVID lockdowns have been widely damaging to the economy, clearly, and people's lives, people's sanity. And now everything seems to be a-okay. Let's get it back on the road. Let's just get it started, put it on the line, go for it. Let's open everything. And the court cases are piling up. There is decisions that are forcing their hand in this. So now it seems like here we are, here it's beginning. Everything's going to start to open. Okay? And then, of course, you have the tweet, will Twitter ban them for this, or is the truth now allowed because the election is over? COVID lockdowns have no clear benefit. We already read that. So now everyone's questioning, after all this time. Remember, the World Health Organization, like an owl, said this months ago, that these lockdowns are not the way. But we force these lockdowns to increase, go up even more so, and all the great raging debate into the election season, and you say, can the disease be political? It should never be political. Every side made this political. You know who got screwed in the end? Us. The normal people right in the middle, normal people on the right, and the normal people on the left. Everyone got screwed because they wanted a certain time period to infiltrate your decision-making process. And its skewed views, of course, push the virus forward and make people feel a certain way going into the election. It's clear as day, ladies and gentlemen. It happened because this has been known since August, I believe. The World Health Organization said lockdowns are not the way. But there is a lot of people on record talking about the Great Reset, and there is a lot of people, world leaders, talking about an economical change and a future that is a new world order. It's out there, it's obvious, and it's known. So you have to ask yourself how far they let this go on the backs of normal people from both parties, and how many normal people don't want why did this chair sink all the way? It's been slowly sinking, hasn't it? I just shrunk. But there's a lot of people that got stuck paying the bill of this political football. And it's, again, the people like me and you. That is where we're at. Okay?
Tell me again what you were saying?
A whistleblower inside Twitter reached out to us.
A whistleblower inside Twitter.
We have this new whistleblower who recorded the CEO of Twitter.
He recorded the CEO. Do you think this is going to get us banned?
It would be a good one to go out on.
Okay. Tell me again what you were saying.
There's James O'Keefe, Project Veritas. I love Project Veritas. I think everybody that has a heartbeat and lives in America should love Project Veritas because they're doing basically an act of severe patriotism for both sides when it comes to freedom of speech. That is undeniable. So right after that leaked, of course, they put out their footage of Jack Dorsey of Twitter explaining that people are coming forward about his account, how he was going after one account, which is at the real Donald Trump, is the assumption. And then from there, they went through that there's going to be many more accounts, and it's going to go on for a while. That's what was said. And that leaves us to why all the accounts are losing followers and other accounts are starting to get deleted. It's problematic, and it's happening. And now it's on video, and I believe Project Veritas is setting their eyes on Twitter, and I hope for the people that work at Twitter's sake know the gravity of the situation and that they do come forward as whistleblowers, because that's very, very important. As Twitter is a big avenue of freedom of speech, and it is being completely decimated, and it is starting, along with Facebook and every other company, it is starting the approach to how we can stop people from communicating and under what ways we can do it, and specifically what political views, if they match and mesh with them. Again, in a world that's basically social media driven and internet and technology driven, this is very, very, very scary stuff, because now you're talking about a whole entire avenue just gone, deleted. And it's the biggest avenue for discussing of politics and anything in general, because it goes from anywhere from the virus to anything that is now deemed political, which is mostly everything. And we're going to see how crazy freedom of speech is getting affected as I go forward, because it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Harvard students seek to revoke Trump graduates' diplomas after Capitol Hill violence. Revoke their degrees targets Kayleigh McEnany. I can never get her name right. I just call her Kayleigh. Senator Cruz and Representative Dan Crenshaw. Okay, let's get to this, because this one's a doozy, ladies and gentlemen. A real doozy. We have Harvard students that are currently there, and post, it seems, that have an issue with, get rid of social media, read a book. You're right, unknowingly, Bella. Social media sucks. And I had intended to, after this whole election cycle, to literally just void myself from social media for the most part. And what happened was I became a political talk show and joined a political world in a very, very big scale, and producing and promoting videos about Max Public House, and now I'm stuck on the line. I don't want to be on the line, but this is where the avenue leads me. Again, I discussed recently about how much information big tech takes from you. More than you can imagine. Some people don't care. They're like, who cares if big tech is taking my information? But we're going to show you how far that goes on this very episode. I have it queued up. And it's a doozy. It's a real doozy. And it's happening. And everyone's okay with this. So, let's see how far this is going. So they're taking your information. We got that. But what else are they doing? What else are they coming for when they cancel you? Okay, following last year's efforts to ban Trump administration officials from speaking on campus, Harvard University students are now circulating a petition that calls for revoking degrees from Trump supporters. Okay, and aides who attend the elite Ivy League institution, Fox Business has learned. The reason cited, according to a copy of the petition reviewed by Fox Business, is that supporters of President Trump were involved in spreading, quote, disinformation and mistrust, end quote. That led to last week's deadly riot at the United States Capitol building. All right. In this, again, I have to start by saying we've had a year almost now of deadly riots. That is a fact. And the damage that has been done has been massive. Billions and billions of dollars. Millions of lives. I can't say millions of lives, but actually, yeah, millions of lives were because of how it changed the political climate. And more than that, physically, people's lives and their property and their businesses have been destroyed in cities all over the world, all over the United States. And that's not saying it lightly. That's a legit, that is actually saying it lightly because it goes so much more in depth. And it affects people of all races, and it affects American citizens, immigrants that are not legal yet, illegal immigrants. It affects everybody. Everyone across the entire board is affected by this. And for the most part, again, we've showed video. It's all out there. Politicians were all for it. They helped bail out people that burned buildings to the ground. This was all good, and it should happen. It should keep happening. More power to those people. Let's keep it going. It should have been denounced once it wasn't peaceful. That's the reality of it. It bred a culture that if your political side feels a certain way, if you feel a certain way in a day that mental illness is through the roof and anxiety is through the roof, you should act out on it. That's what was placed into modern day culture. Whether people learned from that or not, that should be seen, I don't know, but the extremists on the other side definitely took note. Here we are, we're here, collide, boom, crash. And we have to deal with those consequences right now. But where are we going with it? So we're going to continue on down the line. All were described as violent actors who need to be held accountable for their actions, the petition said. A spokesman for Harvard declined to comment other than to say the university is aware of the petition. McEnany, Cruz, and Crenshaw had no immediate comment. The petition began circulating on Wednesday and is said to be gaining some traction among both current and former students, Fox Business reports. Welcome to the show. Again, if you want to watch with the graphics, go over to my link in the bio. It's right there. It's on Facebook Live. So, right now we have, and this is real life, people wanting to go and backdate, remove people's diplomas. So Harvard, even if you paid this institution a crazy amount of money, even though they're very liberal and colleges should be free, but those very liberal professors are taking endless amounts of money, and so are the board. They're making out like bandits off your money that you're putting yourself in a lifetime of debt for. These are facts. These are undisputable facts, unless they're giving you your education for free and taking less money. But they never take less money. They always want more money. And how does that work if you're such a socialist? Or maybe it's socialism is good for the people, but not for the socialist. So I don't know where we're going in this world, but the hypocrisy needs to be called out. If you're talking about how college prices are too high and they're ruining your life, you shouldn't go to college. And if you're talking about that and you're a professor, you should voluntarily take a pay cut. It doesn't make sense that them and the board are collecting all of your hard-earned money. And then, if you don't do what they say after you leave, they kind of think about taking away your right to say that you went to the school, revoke your diploma, which the legality of that makes 0 sense. If a school decided that they can just take away your diploma and all of a sudden you're not a college graduate, are they reimbursing you? And if they even did reimburse you, can you sign on to agree to that? Because that does not seem like an amicable split. In a divorce, you got to do a lot more than just say, oh, hey, I'm going to leave now. How can a college do that? College isn't even married to you. It's a business transaction. They already took your money. If they go through with this, the legal grounds aren't there, but will they amend laws that they can change that? Or maybe the people going into the college. Did we think about the people going into the college? The new admission, is there an agreement that if you go out of college and do something we don't like, well, hell, you weren't a Harvard graduate anymore. We rid ourselves of you. A lot of this was based on the fact that they took away a Russian spy's diploma because he was there under a fake name and he was a spy for Russia. So they took away his diploma. That happened, I think, in 2014. All of this is hard to process, but if you're not in the U.S. legally or you're a spy, well, you shouldn't have any benefit that comes from us. We could post-haste change everything if you're trying to be somebody that's trying to take down our state, our country. But we're trying to cancel people's college diplomas now. Cancel, cancel, cancel. When everybody's left with nothing and they have 0 to their name and they're banned from everything, what's the point then? Do you want to bring them out behind the Kremlin and shoot them like they did the czars in the communist takeover? Because what they do is they try to remove everything, leave you with nothing, and then you ask, how can you proceed with life? I don't know how one proceeds with life if you cancel their college degree. I don't know how you go about that. I don't know if they can't have a job, they can't have a college degree, they can't speak anywhere. If you ostracize groups of people because you disagree with them, there's no civil conversation. You're just erasing people's way of communicating and making a livelihood. So to say that you're going to go back through all of these people in Harvard and remove their degrees post haste years after they graduated because they're conservatives is a sick movement. And I hope it does not gain weight. But I have the note here that's going around campus, and I will read it to you. Dear Larry, there is a lot going on in the world and at Harvard, and I hope you are well despite of it. I am writing to share my thoughts on how Harvard should respond to the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. I am sure we all agree that Harvard should and will do its part as an academic institution to promote research, teaching, conversation, and examines the complex issues underlying these events. But I am also writing to urge Harvard examine any current or future associations with lawmakers and other people who aided in this attempt to overthrow our democracy. As I have told you in past conversations, I do believe that we need more politically conservative voices on campus. I still believe this. I am also a firm believer in academic freedom and will not compromise on that stance. However, we must have minimum standards to which we hold these associated with Harvard. Those standards surely include supporting free elections and not encouraging violence. Well, we could agree with that. But again, if they did, they should pay by the law, not their degree. But I'm diving off here. Let me get back to the letter. If we do not insist that those at Harvard do not try to overturn the free and fair votes of other citizens, or that they will encourage the violent overthrow of our own government, and we have no standards at all, then we have no standards at all. Okay, moving up. I say as a citizen and a scholar of politics that America may be at a crossroad. Maybe a crossroad? I would say at a crossroad, but who am I to comment against somebody who went to Harvard? Jeez. It's hard to imagine institutions like Harvard existing for the next generation if we do not change the dangerous course of politics in this country. In many respects, America's greatest asset and what is also currently holding insurrectionists accountable is not our government, but our civil society, including our leading institutions. Corporations have done the right thing by announcing they will no longer donate to politicians involved in the insurrection, and the social media companies have done the right thing by removing them from their platforms. Okay, so everybody doesn't realize that it's going further than people that are just at a... Hold on, I'm getting calls, my videos are pausing. So longer to donate politicians, given Harvard's role in the academy, our society, and in educating future leaders, we must also be a leader in righting the ship of democracy. Already, the members of Harvard community are asking for the relationship between the institution of politics, members of Congress who sought to overturn the election. It goes on and on and on. This is available everywhere, and you can find it by doing some searches. And there he is, Ryan D. Enos, whatever his name is. He was the one that wrote the letter, okay? So, as life goes on, this is where we're at. Tweets of the claim of election fraud is disputed, and this tweet can't be replied to or retweeted or liked to do. This keeps happening. What in the world is going on? I'm getting calls from everybody. Hello? Hello? You're on the air. You're on the air. You're in studio, Chris.
I'm on speaking across the airwaves of Johnny Matos' news TV show.
You are. What is going on?
Well, you're also on the phone with Nick, the snake slayer Wadsworth, and we were calling you to see if you just wanted to get blasted tonight.
Oh, maybe. I will call you back when I'm done, okay?
All right. I got boatloads of tequila waiting for you, Johnny boy.
Good day. All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. I was paused. Anywho, so now we have this. We have this claim of election fraud is disputed, and this tweet can't be replied to or retweeted or likely due to risk of violence. What happens if that's on everything that's posted? What happens if it's deemed violent no matter what it is? What happens if it's deemed violent that businesses should open? That's a problem. That's a really big problem, because all of a sudden, if it's deemed by the big tech companies that it could be something that is conservative, which could lead to violence, which could lead to the dark side of the force, you can't tweet it, you can't comment, soon it'll all be gone. And now, how far does this go? Well, I'm going to turn this over to Tommy Vext of Bad Wolves, who's currently dating Nicole Arbor, and he's going to explain how he's been canceled. Then I'm going to turn it over to another artist, and you're going to see how the canceling is ongoing. Watch and see how bad it is.
Overwhelming, and I appreciate it. And there's a lot of speculation. Overwhelming, and I appreciate it. Ian, what's up, bro? Zach Myers, what's going on? Massive support from streams. I'm gonna read it. Bear with me. It's I just woke up a little while ago, but this has to get cleared up. So, dear friends, let me start by expressing a huge gratitude to all of the fans. All the people at our label, our management, our lawyers, and everyone who helped in establishing Bad Wolf's career. I take great pride and sincerity in what we all accomplished together. Bad Wolves became the fastest rising rock band in the last decade, with 5 #1 consecutive hit singles. Thanks to our massive support from all of the fans in the Wolfpack, we exploded into mainstream rock consciousness, which is no small feat for a bunch of dudes from metal bands. We even held the #1 spot across the entire Apple Music platform on all continents. We accumulated hundreds of millions of streams, and as a result, you helped us by giving back over hundreds of thousands of dollars to various charities. Our future was bright, and our trajectory was undeniable as an arena band, until COVID struck and everyone's life changed. I saw things happening that I didn't understand. During the first quarantine, I publicly voiced my concerns about where we are going as a nation and what is happening to the country that I love. I voiced my disappointment for protests that had turned into violent riots. Cities, businesses, lives destroyed, and then called mostly peaceful. I criticized the media standing idle and even condoning that behavior. I pointed out that good causes were infiltrated by bad actors, hijacked, and delegitimized a good movement. I dared to question who financially benefited from all this and who was funding these events. I questioned the lockdowns when small businesses were driven into bankruptcy and yet big chains were allowed to operate. I questioned imposed social distancing when rioting and looting was exempt, or why you can't have family gatherings or eat at restaurants with anyone unless you're a politician. This is a repeated hypocrisy we saw time and time again. And for this, they came after me. Me, an African-American artist speaking his mind. I became unacceptable by the gatekeepers because I walked off the plantation. I had to be silenced. Cancel culture came after my band. I was threatened, I was ridiculed, I was blackmailed, and smear campaigns were launched to destroy my career, my reputation, and my livelihood. These events really opened my eyes, because this was no longer just an urban legend or conspiracy theory. This was literally happening to me. Censorship became very real, and I was fighting organized hit job after organized hit job aimed at my character and even my physical freedom. This is when I realized what I was up against. This is bigger than me. This is when and why I publicly endorsed the sitting president of the United States of America. Because I believed he was fighting the same big tech, the same media, the same gatekeepers, the same faceless radicals who wish to destroy our First Amendment rights. But I will not be silenced. I will not abandon my values and my love for the flag of this country. I will fight for the Constitution and our freedom of speech, which hopefully now all of you can see is being blatantly violated by big tech. However, this is my fight. I realize I cannot drag my band members and people around me into this. I, on my own, decided to go solo. This way, everything I say and do will affect only me.
So there you have that. People are getting canceled everywhere. Doesn't matter what color you are. Race only matters if it follows the narrative that they have set forth. If you are black and you're a conservative or you're supporting freedom of speech and calling out anything that you see that is different from what you're supposed to believe if you're black, that's been put forward. You're called racist names by white people and black people. They don't even want to listen to you. The whole entire group of not Democrats, that's wrong, of these prominent liberals that are extremists, don't want anything to do with you. And you'll see, there's more. There's not just me saying it, there's other people.
Stores as of today. What's going on, everybody? I'm not going to be long, but I do want to address my song, The Patriot, being removed from all digital music stores as of today. My distributor, DistroKid, hit me up and they said the reason being is unknown. They don't know the context or anything as to why the stores rejected or wanted my song to be removed. It's not a copyright issue. I knew all this going forward. If it was a copyright issue because of something, then my YouTube video would have been taken down the day I posted it. So that's not it. The only thing I can believe is related to is the riots that went down in DC. Because after we got done performing that day, someone, I think we was riding the car and we was trying to play it on Spotify and it was removed. So the song was already removed on Spotify for a week now, but I guess everyone else is playing catch up and they went on and removed it completely. That means you can no longer download the song on any of or stream the song on any of your favorite platforms. If you want to listen to the song, the only places right now are SoundCloud, my personal YouTube page, and if you go to the MarineRapper.com, right at the top, we have to where you can buy a physical copy, a physical signed copy, or a digital download. The option is yours. Moving on. Now, I don't have to stress how worrisome this is to our freedom of speech here in America. The arts is considered one of the most sacred places for speech. Seriously, throughout history, artists, writers have captured the moments, the events, the feelings, the emotions that has went down and taken place. So when you, especially if we take note from Nazi Germany, when you go and you remove all this history and you silence those people, the storytellers, then you have a big problem. Nothing really good comes from that. And nothing good is coming from this. We've already seen a rise of Trump supporters.
So I think we've seen enough from both sides. I could have let those videos continue. They were long. They were in depth, and they spoke to the fact of how messed up what's going on is. That man's an independent artist, made a song with no curse words, no copyright issues. He was pulled from Spotify the day of the 6th, pulled from all of the other labels, can't sell his music outside of his own website, didn't even have a curse word in the song, and there wasn't even a reason granted besides the fact that he's considered the Patriot. His voice has been silenced, and again, the whole term was listen to people of color. That was part of Black Stories, all of the catchphrases and hashtags made by BLM this whole summer, and it didn't fit the agenda. These people are just done, canceled, erased. Done, get out, don't matter who you are. There's something clearly wrong with you. You don't agree with me. This is extremely, extremely bad. But big tech, ladies and gentlemen, big tech. It ain't going to be a full hour, I don't think, this episode. I'm almost there. Big tech is a scary, scary thing. And I'm going to show you why they're so scary. Today, I get this hitting the feed. The Federal Trade Commission has reached a settlement with Flow Health, the developer of a widely used period and fertility tracking app, over allegations that it improperly shared personal data with Facebook and others, including whether users were ovulating. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to know why you were getting targeted ads for chocolate and foods, it's because Facebook knew you were on your period. That's right. This is a little bit crazy, a little bit of unheard of and absurd, but this is what's going on. Our lives are becoming a way of keeping you on social media, no matter what the cost, even if it affects your mental health. For many, a vast majority, it does. So they flood your search when you go to find your friend. Oh, let me go find my friend's profile, see what they've been up to. You're flooded with anything that they've determined through algorithms and research on you that will keep you looking, or things of interest. After you finally escape from that labyrinth, if you dare enter it, you forgot what you were already going to do. And then you go down that path, and then you get hit with a whole new slew of things. But they're taking information anywhere they can get it to then turn you into a money gathering device. Essentially, that's what their app becomes. So now you start giving their ads clicks. Their clicked ads are put to you any way they can be put to you, which is, in this case, if you have your period, they'll find things that will basically hook you up to your period. That way they can turn a sale. This is disturbing. Where does it stop? When you turn your lights on and off at home with your Philips Hue app? Where you last were when you hunted Pokemon, if you play Pokemon Go. Or maybe you're shooting zombies. No matter what you do, Facebook, if they can get their little slimy claws on it, will use it to their advantage. I have an app that tracks when you poop because I had bowel movement issues for a little bit. Before I was on Metamucil, I highly tell everybody to use Metamucil. I took probiotics, Metamucil, fixed everything right up. As you get older, your body changes. You don't poop the way you used to. These are hard facts, but they are reality, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not embarrassed to say it because I don't care. I just say things and put it on the line. At that point, they know what my bowel schedule is like, essentially, if the app that watched you regulate your poo told them. Then they might bombard me with even more stuff to keep me on the turlet, the old turlet bowl. Our privacy is gone. It's donezo. And the people that are taking it are the people that will also quiet you down and mute you. They control everything on a social level. Outside of your normal circle, like of family and friends that are already infiltrated, essentially, by groupthink, if they're not on the groupthink train, then yes, you can talk to them even if you have disagreements. But outside of that, the world, your extended friends and people you've known, the web that everybody casts on social media worldwide, they can't have that conversation. It's done. You're going to be muted, and you're going to be utilized in only the ways they want you to be. And they're going to know every damn thing you do. Down to China trying to get your DNA on 23andMe. There is a never-ending web of how crazy this world has become. For me, the way I find solace in it is I just surf the wave until I'm there at the door of death. And until then, I'm just going to do what I do and not give up.
That was easy.
I bleeped myself. So, when you think that everything you're doing is okay and safe, or if somebody might know and you're like, okay, they already know. Not only do they know down to the nitty gritty what you're doing. Your workout schedule, they know it all. And it's going to all come out. Apple can possibly know it, does know it all. And if somehow there's an infiltration of Facebook and the way everything's interweb, again, some people just think stuff or even write on an encrypted message service, and then the ad is there on Instagram or Facebook right after that. I one time said something, what the hell was it? My friend wrote something stupid and it was like, ha ha ha, butt stuff. It was of course, a dirty joke pun. And that became, when I went on Instagram, right from that chat of encrypted iMessage, a t-shirt was there saying, I like to do butt stuff. And it was a girl squatting at the gym. It was like a t-shirt for squatting girls. What in the world goes on? How do they know all of this? And are we all okay with it? That's a good question. So I'm going to be closing up the show right now in the next few seconds. 23 die in Norway after receiving Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, officials say, went further into the actual statement from Norway. The 13 people that they actually looked at and went in depth on were in nursing homes, were very frail, old age, and it might change the way they administer the vaccination to old-aged people that are frail or close to near end of life if they have certain ailments. And of course, we are living the moment right now where we are part of a worldwide clinical trial because there's no vaccine that is implemented 7-8 months after the creation of a new disease or the discovery of a new disease of a pandemic, and we're living that. And everybody should know the information. Now, granted, those 13 people that were investigated possibly were knocking on heaven's door that night regardless. Whether that's the case or not, we should know all of the information. It should not go underestimated on how it will pan out in other people's heads. We need all the info while we make our decision if we are going to get the vaccination. Again, I do not judge anyone for getting it or not getting it. It is your decision, and you should know all the information. You shouldn't be bullied into groupthink that hashtag follow the science because we are living the science right now. And this is part of the science. And if it's not, you don't know how science examples work. You should reassess how you do your science projects. And I leave you on this weekend with this before I go have some beverages. I never thought that I would say this. When I met Rose McGowan, I was 17. I was a senior in high school working on a little movie at the B-Bar in Manhattan, in Bowery. And the woman that did the makeup that night for that show, she said, Rose McGowan's eating outside in the restaurant portion of the bar. Well, 17-year-old John put his sunglasses on inside, said, I'm going to go hit on Marilyn Manson's girlfriend. I think they were already boyfriend-girlfriend at one point. So I walked right up to her, doing my McGregor stroll. Didn't even know about it, but I was doing it to you. And I went up to her and I hit on her, and I didn't know that she was a complete extremist leftist. But I shot my shot. We giggled. She smiled. It was a fun time. Later on, of course, she got completely radicalized. But here we are in 2021. I finally have something I agree with Rose McGowan on. And it is this tweet. And I will leave you with it. The impeachment is cult propaganda, a theater of mass distraction. U.S. cult members on the left will cheer. Those on the right will be in a fury. And the country's starving, sick, and poor will sink farther and farther. Good thing the elites are leading us. Holy good God, Rose, you nailed it this time. Everybody from the poor, it's not just the poor, the sick, and the starving. It's all the people moderate on both sides that are just done with this bullcrap that's ongoing. And we're all being shadowed by the small percent on each side that's extremist because we're scared we're going to get canceled or caught up in some web. Guys, it's time to stand up and tell them to F off. That's what time it is. And I do that every night on this show, F off. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next week. Next week there's only one show. One show because I'm going away. So I won't be back. There will be a Monday show that will wrap up all of the happenings of this weekend and what happened on Monday. And there's a big word that there's a lot of unclassified documents coming, or declassified, not unclassified, but declassified documents. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be an interesting show. So when that happens on Monday, I hope I have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I hope it's a real screamer. And then I will go on vacation and I will see you the following Monday. But I'll remind you of that then. Monday will be a show. 6 p.m. Be there, be square. Remember, everybody, follow us at We the People Are the News on Facebook and Instagram, and Gab if you want. And if I would say Parler, but they've been executed by big tech and a lot of people that, just don't want you to be able to speak. And from there, who knows? Who knows? We just ride that wave. But remember, everybody, we the people are the news. So start spreading it, sharing it, and using your voice. Because right now is a pivotal time in history. This will be on replay. So go share it, put it on the line. Share it with someone you might think would like it. Because at least I can give viewpoints to them to talk as they talk with other people. It's opening eyes, it's time to wake up. The coffee's brewed, the bacon's sizzling. And right now, freedom is all at risk if we do not at least continue to talk about ideas. So while the people that went to Harvard are slowly losing their degrees, and the world is speedily going down the pipe of the Twilight Zone, at least we could ride it out together and be real smart about it. Because I will never eat that pudding and Kool-Aid. I will see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. And may the odds ever be in your favor.